He thought he could save the world. He thought he could do magic. Jack owned Jack the trucker and his polka dancing poodle with the polka dot shoes.
First day at the tabernacle, everything was clean as margarine.
Dack, polka dancing poodle.
Holiness, holy holiness at the tabernacle. In the office of Reverend Stonehenge Stumps, Church of the Living Monument in Yamaville, Stonehenge Stumps asked his son Peter, "What caused you to think this way? What made you believe what you believe? What exactly do you mean?" Peter said, "I am stumped, just as you are stumped. We are from the stump lineage. Pierre, you are the rock on which I attempted to plant my stump. The stump, to be stumped. To be stumped means to be at an intersection of infinite, multiple directions, possibilities, flux, time, instance, point instance, infinitely divisible, infinitely expanding possibility. It means to discard anything that would block or obscure the mind, to remove obstacles.
Welcome to Lohbado Channel, the place of sight and sound.
Lohbado remembered a cross-continent truck drive back in the 80s, and at a truck stop, he pulled over to pee. A trucker driving a huge 18-wheeler swaggered up to the urinal next to him and unzipped and took out his little man in order to pee, and asked if he minded if he followed Lohbado.
A micro-story, but it has two parallel things going on. It's two people connecting. Lohbado, back in the early 80s, driving his pickup truck across the continent, and this man, Jack the trucker, who was driving an 18-wheeler across the continent. And when you're on the freeway, the mind can wander, memories surface, all kinds of things happen. Lohbado was thinking about
power of the poodle, in particular, this poodle, Dack, the polka dancing poodle. The power of the bark, ruff, ruff, to shock toxic opinions from the brain, to shake up strata of confusion, calcified layers in the mind. The woof of the dog had magic power, and the hypnotic dance could mesmerize the mind, making it more receptive. The wisdom of Dack, the polka dancing poodle.
In the 80s, he was driving and he pulled over at a rest stop because he was road weary and he needed to pee.
Long stretches of freeway, one gets road weary. It could be monotonous. It requires a lot of stimulation sometimes. It's important to pull over at rest stops and take a break.
And he stood at the urinal, and a trucker swaggered up to him and stood next to him at the urinal next to him. In those days, there weren't dividers. It was just like a wall full of urinals, and you just unzipped and let it all hang out, and you just peed to your heart's content. And you could have a conversation while you're peeing. And he introduced himself.
At first, Abel Crane enjoyed being a trucker, but then it quickly became a grind as there was increasing pressure to do the deliveries quickly, to quickly unload, and then to immediately start on the next. And often there were long lineups sometimes and a lot of congestion sometimes at the loading docks. It became a grind. Money took priority over safety.
He said, by the way, if you're interested, I could show you my poodle. His name is Dack. He's a a retired polka dancing poodle, a mid-sized poodle. Usually I take him into the diner with me, but he was tired and just wants to rest in the sleeper right now. It's air conditioned in there. I leave the air conditioning running while I go inside. There's good air ventilation, air circulation. It's a little palace in the cab of my truck. Lohbado said, no thanks, I'm just going to have a cup of coffee. I'm road weary, I need a coffee just to have a break, and then I'm going to continue. And Jack said, well, I'll join you. So they finished peeing and they went and sat down in the dining area and they each had their cup of coffee. And
for a while, maybe for a month or so, Abel Crane slid into a dark state of mind, into a kind of depression where he felt like a zombie just going through the motions. But then when he acquired Dack, the polka dancing poodle, that immediately brightened up his mind and opened up a new perspective, a new way out of the imprisoning claustrophobia of the world dominated by money and power. He entered a fourth dimension.
Abel Crane, with a PhD from Lumpkins University, who lectured a few courses but was not paid enough. The pay that he got for teaching a couple courses at Lumpkins was not enough to cover his rent, so he became disillusioned with academia and he discovered an opportunity as a trucker. He took the course and became a truck driver, which at first he enjoyed, but then it became a grind and he was kind of burned out, and the thing that kept his spirits up was having this polka dancing dog. Let me explain what's going on here. I hope you enjoy the story, the little micro story. There's lots more to it, but this is all part of an audio-video composition. Toy poodle, who was actually kicked out of the circus for scandalous behavior, although it made the audience laugh. But the producers didn't have a sense of humor.
The pink pom-pom was Dack's undoing. Dack's undoing was the pink pom-pom. In a moment of adrenaline, being the celebrity dog at the circus, at least that's the way it seemed to Sven, owner and trainer of the famous polka dancing poodle. Sven was in the ring with Dack when the clown came to break up the frolicking going on between Dack, the poodle, and the bulldog. They were jumping all over each other and sniffing and having a good time. When the clown came to break it up, Dack turned his head and was immediately attracted to the pink pom-pom on the shoes of the clown. Dack dove at the pom-pom as if to bite it off and fling it in the air like a little bouncing ball. And in the process, in the excitement, his teeth went through the fabric and bit the clown's toe. To bite at the circus is a violation of the rules. So that was the downfall of Dack at the circus. However, the downfall also led to a rising up. The circus dog had to surrender the glory of being in the ring to the intimate relaxation and connection and adventure of being a dog in the cab of an 18-wheeler beside Abel Crane as he drove back and forth across the continent.
What the dancing poodle did in the middle of the show did not meet the criterion of a family entertainment. And so Sven, who owned the dog, didn't know what to do with it, so he ended up giving it to the trucker. He did things that he shouldn't have done. He was thrown out of the circus and barred from ever performing in the circus again. Sven could tell that Jack had good vibes, so he said, he's yours.